My name is Bridgette Davidson. In 2002, I opened Jordan's Elite Personal Care in Atlanta, Georgia. Shortly after that, I closed the business down due to family issues. I can't remember. Don't stop.
Just tell what you remember, and if there's something you can't remember, this all gets edited, so
okay.
we can.
Okay. After the closing of Jordan's Elite Personal Care, I continued on with my job at the Department of Veterans Affairs, resigning in 2002, September of 2002, taking a job in Coast Neck, New Jersey. My daughter and I traveled to Coast Neck, New Jersey. We resided in Coast Neck, New Jersey for about a year. Shortly after working for the Department of the Navy in Coast Neck, New Jersey, I started a job in New York, Fort Hamilton, with the Department of the Army USARAC. I was there for a year and then promoted and relocated to the state of Virginia. Prior to leaving New York, there were little bits of spitfires, a warning, so say, that something was about to happen, and it involved my daughter and myself. After relocating to Virginia, all hell broke loose. And my daughter's life, as well as my life, was turned upside down. And I do believe that it was a result of an Army suggestion that I submitted to the Department of the Army, in which was pre-approved and partially adopted by the installation, and that installation is Fort Myer, Virginia. While working at Fort Myer, Virginia, I started to look for additional work, and I found myself being transferred or reassigned to HRC, Department of the Army HRC, Disabled Soldier Support, now known as Army Wounded Warrior Program. And while there, a co-worker found information on the Army suggestion that I submitted, along with my life. And I do believe that that information was passed to the co-worker by a supervisor or another personnel in management. As I continued on with my work there at the HRC, Disabled Soldier Support, Army Wounded Warrior Program, my security clearance was going through. All the while, I found that my co-workers, my peers, individuals that I communicate with on a daily basis, were involved in the investigation. Basically, my peers were investigating me, which is illegal. At the time that I signed on to take the job, I visited the Pentagon and had security. I provided them with the information they requested, and they cleared me of everything and signed me on to continue work with the Department of the Army. Shortly after working with HRC, AW2, family members or individuals pretending to be my family member would contact the job and provide them with all sorts of information, in which was untrue. But the calls came constantly, in which interfered with my peers' work, other co-workers' work, and the supervisor's work. In my mind, I believe it was a conspiracy against me to get me out of the federal government. I found these individuals circulating within my daughter's schools, outings that myself and my daughter and I were going on, and other. This is a picture of my daughter, Jordan Anna James Davidson Frazier. She was attending Evangel Christian Academy in Del City, Virginia. This is one of the academies that these individuals visited and harassed my daughter constantly until she was transferred to another school. And this school that she was transferred was Belmont Bay. Now we reside in Killeen, Texas. She's in my parents' care as a result of the legalities and legal issues. And I want my daughter back and home with me so we can move forward with our lives. I totally believe I messed that up, but
we'll change whatever you want to change and do it again.
I didn't write my story down from then on to now. I did not bring that with me. And my nerves are so shot I can't remember. And I don't know what that looks like or sounds like.
Okay. All right. What's the most important thing for you to convey?
The most important thing for me to convey is that I am a professional single parent, and I have been forced into socioeconomic deprivation, and I want my life back.
Do you want to tell about calling me on the telephone a month or so ago? About a month ago, I contacted Mr. Windsor, is that how you pronounce it? In reference to some harassment that was ongoing in Killeen, Texas. And this harassment is in the place I live, in the community I live, in schools that I attend, as well as the schools that my daughter attend. And my question to Mr. Bill Windsor was, what should I do? I'm constantly being harassed, and someone wants to label me as having a mental health issue or diagnosis, and that diagnosis was or is paranoid schizophrenia. I do believe this was a tactic that the government used to keep me unemployed, to keep me in a state of socioeconomic deprivation, to keep my daughter displaced, and to keep me from having a life. And Mr. Windsor said to me, after relaying my thoughts, Bridgette, just keep everything with you, and keep everything with you in the briefcase or a bag. And that's what I do. I walk around with my life in my bag.
You have mental health evaluations, don't you?
Yeah.
To show that you're not unedited?
I have been evaluated by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Department of Justice, and my private psychiatrist, and all declare me competent and mentally sane.
So the main reason for having you take everything with you is that should someone attempt to put you in a facility to be psychologically or mentally evaluated, you've got the proof with you. You want to explain that?
Well, for me, it is, and it is becoming, it's becoming easy for me to keep my documentation with me. I have found it to be a way of life for myself in the process of teaching my daughter, if this is not cleared up soon. And the purpose is to basically protect myself and my child, being armed with the information, declaring my sanity and competency, preventing one from injecting me with psychotropic medication, and being left in a mental health institution with no recollection of what my life is and who is involved in or a part of my life. And my parents just not knowing or understanding the situation in the circumstance.
So if you want us to, we'll put as part of your record your mental health evaluation showing you to be competent. That's totally up to you, but if it helps you to make it part of the public record, we'll do that.
Yeah.